What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel. We've got another 2019 college football schedule preview. This time, it's the Michigan Wolverines. Had to be a rough year if you're a Michigan fan last season, thinking that you're going to the playoffs and everything's going their way, and then you get embarrassed by your rival, and then you get embarrassed by the third best team in the SEC in a bowl game. Just not the way you wanted to finish the season. And they were just one game away. All they had to do was beat Ohio State. Then more than likely they would have beat Northwestern and would have went to the playoffs, but it just was not meant to be. And that's the big question for Michigan. Can they get over the hump? Can they beat Ohio State? We'll find out this year. They get them at home. As you see the schedule, I think Michigan has a chance to be really good again. They do have some holes to fill on defense, some very key players there that they will be missing. But Jim Harbaugh has recruited pretty well. Shea Patterson is back at quarterback, so I think Michigan, again, has a chance to have a really good season. And I picked them to go to the playoffs last year. So I was very high on this team and was very close to seeing that prediction come true. But, again, they lose that game to Ohio State. In the non-conference, they played Middle Tennessee, Army, and Notre Dame. So, yes, Notre Dame going to be a tough one. Army going to be a tricky game as well. That Army team is legit. You look at their conference schedule. They play Wisconsin, Illinois, Penn State, Maryland, and Indiana on the road. Wisconsin and Penn State obviously going to be really tough road games for this team. At home, you get Ohio State and Michigan State at home, but those will still be tough games as well. And then, like I said, Notre Dame. This is a tough schedule. This is a really, really tough schedule. We'll rank these schedules when I'm done going through all of them, and I will, see who I think has the toughest schedule. I think Michigan has to be in that discussion, though, when you look at, playing Notre Dame in the non-conference, playing Wisconsin from the other division. Illinois is going to be better. Iowa's always tough. I mean, this is a tough schedule, and really from that Penn State game on, there's no break. You got at Penn State, Notre Dame, at Maryland, Michigan State, at Indiana, which could be a little tricky, and then Ohio State to finish it out. Very, very difficult schedule. If we look at the schedule and we look for those easy wins, the games that are pretty much guarantee wins, of course, like I always say, there are no guarantees in college football. Look at Appalachian State beating Michigan. I mean, they could lose to Middle Tennessee. They could lose to Rutgers, but I think it's very, very unlikely that they lose to either of those teams. I think those are your easy wins, your pretty much guaranteed wins would be Middle Tennessee and Rutgers. So let's go ahead and give them wins there. And then you look at that next level, that next tier. You look for the games that Michigan will probably win. I mean, there's no guarantee. These are games that might be somewhat competitive, but Michigan should be able to win. I think they should beat Army. I know Army is going to be tough, but Michigan should win that game. Then you go to Illinois. I think that they should beat Illinois even on the road. Yes, Illinois is going to be better this year, but that's a game that I think Michigan should win. Maryland is an interesting game there, but it's on the road, and I'm just not sure how good they're going to be, so we'll hold off on that. And then we'll also say that they should beat Indiana. I know Indiana gave them fits last season, but I do think Michigan should win that game. So there are 5 guaranteed wins. You look, or less, again, not guaranteed wins, but 5 games that they should win. That means there's 7 games that they could potentially lose. Now, I'm not going to say worst case scenario is, I'm not going to say worst case scenario is 5 and 7. This team's going to a bowl game. I think worst case scenario might be 8 and 4. I mean, you're probably going to win at least half of these games. You're probably going to beat, Iowa should be a win, hopefully, if you're a Michigan fan. Maryland, and then Michigan State at home. I mean, they're going to win 3 of these games, you would think, at least. So I think worst case scenario is probably 8 and 4. Best case scenario, I don't know that this team can run the table. This is just a tough schedule. As good as they might be, I think somewhere along the way they're going to lose a game. I mean, Penn State, Notre Dame back-to-back, that is tough, and then Ohio State, of course. So we're going to say that best case scenario is 11 and 1. And, maybe that one loss comes to Notre Dame again. This time you get to go to the Big Ten championship game. That would, to me, be the best case scenario for Michigan. Projected wins, I think it's between 8 and 11. We just did Ohio State earlier today, and they had a much wider gap because there's the big unknown at quarterback. I think their projected wins were from 7 to 12. I think Michigan's schedule is a little bit tougher, and I think their ceiling is not as high, but their basement is not as low. So I think Michigan, you know more about what you're going to get out of this team. And, I don't think they lose 4 games. I mean, it's probably 10 or 11 wins if I had to pick right now. But again, with this schedule, with a Wisconsin team that is probably going to be much better, with a Penn State game on the road, a very tough place to play, Notre Dame again, Michigan State, always a tough challenge for Michigan, and then again Ohio State at the end of the season, the team that they just can't seem to beat. Again, I think that it's very possible this team does lose 1 or 2 games. I would, if I was going to pick it right now, I don't know which game I would pick, but I would probably say Michigan could get to 11-1. I don't know. Then again, I might say 10-2. I think it really comes down to Ohio State. I think that this team probably gets to that Ohio State game with 1 loss, just like last year. And then it depends on how good Ohio State is. If they can't beat Ohio State, yeah, I think this team probably goes 10-2 again. But if they can beat them this year and they do get them at home, this is a huge opportunity. New quarterback, new head coach for Ohio State. Michigan really needs to win that game this year. And if they can, then yeah, I think 11-1 is very possible. And at 11-1 with this schedule, if you win the Big Ten, you're going to the playoffs almost guaranteed. Thank you for watching this video. If you're a Big Ten football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in Big Ten football, keep it right here.